Dhaka, the capital city of Bangladesh. 39 kilometers to the northwest of Dhaka lies the Upazila town of Dhamrai. It was once known as the capital of metal craft of Bangladesh. Situated on the banks of rivers Bongshi and Kakilajani, Dhamrai has seen the craftsmanship in bronze and brass metals flourish for hundreds of years. Though the metal industry existed in other parts of Bangladesh, Dhamrai was the epicenter of the industry. But now, the heritage is lost. The industry was mostly dominated by the Hindu community. With the decrease in their numbers and wider availability of cheap crockery of plastic, melamine, etc., the metal industry witnessed a decline. Presently, the industry manages to barely survive. No one has bothered to give this traditional industry a second look. With gradual decline over the years, the number of craftsmen of the trade has reduced to a few hundred in the entire region. The region had almost 30 villages where scores of people used to earn a profitable livelihood for themselves. Today, only nostalgia remains. A family with a history of being involved in this business for 5 generations still exists in Dhamrai. This family of traders has managed to cling on to this trade even today and dreams of reviving the traditional craftsmanship. Dhamrai was renowned for its brass and bronze products and huge handcrafted wooden chariots. A legacy which exists no more. What remains are wishful dreams. Unlike other products, the specialty of the bronze and brassware of the region is that these are not machine-made. The wares are all handcrafted. The craftsmen applied their creativity into making these products. Broadly, 4 processes are involved in making brass and bronzeware. Lost wax method, clay casting, sand casting method, and hammering method. Of the 4 process stages, the most amazing is the lost wax method. In this method, mainly figures of gods and goddesses and birds and animals are sculpted. Craftsmen sculpt various figures, keeping models in front of them. The craftsmanship is highly artistic. The artistry depends on the creative intellect of the craftsman. The more creative a craftsman is, the more aesthetic is his creation. One can find idols of gods and goddesses and other sculptures in foreign countries. However, these are made from a single mold and are produced in large numbers in various factories. Thus, one can come across the same sculpture form in multiple numbers at a cheap price. But the industry at Dhamrai is different in nature. In the lost wax method, it is only possible to make a single and unique piece of an idol or sculpted figure, because the mold becomes unusable after a figure is sculpted. Therefore, duplication is not possible. Only a single and unique piece is available of any creation. Hence, it is expensive. This form of art only exists in Bangladesh. and the entire legacy belongs to the place known as Dhamrai. This process of sculpting is completely our own. Because of the singular uniqueness of the sculpted forms, these are highly valued by all. Especially, the foreign art critics show keen interest in this form of art. Matt Friedman has been working for a long time on metal craft of South Asia. This internationally acclaimed personality, speaking on this form of art, says,
"The lost wax method is a method of making statues. What makes this method very special is that it's made from natural materials. Paraffins, beeswax, metals, clays, water, all coming together over a period of about 3 months to go from these natural materials to something very special and unique like this." This piece represents the final outcome of all the pieces coming together. To basically take a piece of wax and paraffin like this and to put it into this form is an incredibly difficult task that requires the artisans to be at the highest quality, at the highest level. This piece represents the result of all of the various elements coming together in the form of this statue. It's almost a piece of art the way it is here. To go from the raw material to this very artistic piece takes tremendous artistry, artistry that's only found in this part of the world. But yet, 5 years ago, there were only 4 artisans here in Bangladesh that were doing this job. Now there's over 25. Part of the work of what's happening here in Dhamrai is to revive this method so that it will be around for another 2,000 years. If we were to lose this method, we would lose something very important, not only for Bangladesh, but for the whole world. What the workers here in Dhamrai do is bring 11th century pieces back to life. From sand and water and metal and clay, over a 3-month period of time, they create these beautiful statues. Statues that have a value that goes well beyond the borders of Bangladesh.
in the lost wax method, wax, clay, jute straws, sand, paddy husk and bronze or brass is used. Copper and tin is used to make bronze, and brass is made from a combination of copper and zinc. Now let us see how a sculpture is formed. Firstly, paraffin is mixed with wax to create a new form of wax substance which neither melts nor hardens. With this unique wax substance, a craftsman can creatively form head, arms, etc. and give different postures to any part of the body of a sculpture to his heart's content. A 800-watt bulb is used to keep the wax substance more or less soft. Then a layer of clay is applied to the wax structure. This clay too is not the usual form of clay we find. A special type of clay known as ethyl doash clay is used from the adjacent river bank. The clay is sieved into fine granules and mixed with water to give it a form which, without damaging the mold structure, can be plastered onto the intricate layers of the sculpture. The right formation of the clay depends on the craftsman's experience and skill. The clay plaster on the wax structure is left to dry off at room temperature. It takes 1 to 3 days for the sculpted form to dry out. When it dries off, it is again given another layer of clay. To harden this layer of clay, it is mixed with sand and jute straws. A third layer is applied with a mixture of clay, sand and paddy husk. 2 wax pipes are then placed below the structure for the melted wax to drain out and to create channels for the liquid metal to enter. Now, this structure has to be placed in the kiln. This special type of kiln has temperatures rising up to 1000 degrees centigrade. The wax inside the layer of clay melts out in this high temperature and the sculpture takes shape in the mold. Bowls are made from mixture of clay and paddy husk to melt the metal. Pieces of metal are put inside this bowl and placed inside the kiln to melt. Many people are not aware of the fact that these wonderful art sculptures are made in Bangladesh. A young man who hails from the family of traders involved with this form of art for 5 generations has taken an initiative to let people know both within the country and internationally of the existence of this craft in Bangladesh. The youth has been instrumental in forming an organization called Initiative for the Preservation of Dhamrai Metal Craft. The organization has been working towards preservation of this almost dying industry. Their efforts have also received a lot of attention. People from various regions of the country and foreigners residing in Bangladesh have shown keen interest and support for their efforts. Some have already visited the place. However, immense financial support and patronage is required to save this industry from total extinction. The young man hailing from the trader's family, Shukanto, says,
"Our vision is to keep the metal casting industry alive in Bangladesh. To achieve this goal, Initiative for the Preservation of Dhamrai Metal Casting is running various programs. We bring students here to learn metal casting. We do skill exchange program with Nepalese and Indian artisans. We have apprentice program for new artisans. We are documenting different techniques that we are following here in Dhamrai and elsewhere."
It is important to note that brass and bronze utensils are no longer used because alternate materials are now available. However, these materials have not been able to replace the intrinsic artistic value of brass and bronze ware. Therefore, people still value wares made from this form of craftsmanship. We have to ensure that this localized industry survives the rigors of time. The art lovers of the world should recognize Bangladesh as the land which produces wares using the lost wax method. And it is with this hope that this organization of Dhamrai is striving hard to salvage this industry.